some teams that are not going to be melting and are not cooling down anytime soon. Leafs, Edmonton Oilers, and the Calgary Flames. I got to get your thoughts on this. Who's the best team in Canada? Let's throw out all the other ones. I don't even think they're in the discussion. Winnipeg, I'm sorry, but you've been falling off a little bit. And I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry. There's time. We still got time. They're a great team. Wait till Scheifele and Wheeler start getting going, and we'll see some real deal from this Jets team. They'll be soaring high. But I mean, we've seen the dominant play over this last month with the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've had the Edmonton Oilers. I still believe they're being a little bit more carried on the top heavy kind of side of things, where you got McDavid and Draisaitl still running the show. Those are your two leading Hart Trophy winners right now, believe it or not. And you got the Calgary Flames. I'm seeing production from the defensive end. Klingington, I think his name is. He's been pretty hot. Chillington. Yes, he's been pretty hot. The forwards have been hot. They don't have a captain, mind you, and they're doing all this through different leaders on and off the ice. So, because obviously Giordano left, right? Yeah. So, and obviously what I mentioned off the top, they're being led from the back to out. Like the goaltending from even later too. He's been terrific. That goalie tandem has been so tight. Markstrom is continuing. He's finding his groove that he was in the postseason in Vancouver. So everything's turning up for Vancouver. But I want to turn over to you guys. Which team is the best team in Canada, Adamo?
I'll rank them for you, and I'll give you my
Start with three.
Oh, three. Okay. We'll go Edmonton Oilers, Toronto Maple Leafs, Calgary Flames. The Calgary Flames are the best team in Canada, and it's not me like being a Leaf hater, because I'm mostly a Leaf fan.
He's a believer now.
And I'm a believer.
He's a believer.
I am a believer and a believer. I think two things can be true. I think the Leafs are fucking awesome. I think they're one of the best teams in the league. And I think they're the second best team in Canada. And there's nothing wrong with that, because the Calgary Flames have been absolutely unreal. Like you said, the goaltending has been unreal. The defense has been unreal. That forward core, you have Johnny Gaudreau, he's back, baby.
He's finding his groove, Johnny Hockey, man.
He's so good. When that
he's in a contract year.
Oh, yeah. When that guy is on, he is on. He's such a good player. He's so much fun to watch. Andrew Mangiapane,
Bolton boy, shut out right now. Bolton's finest. No, he's from Bolton. I met his mom. She taught me in school. I met him. I did a job for him in the summer. Gave me a handshake.
That is cool.
For him. We have chemistry. We got a vibe together. So I'm happy.
That is sick.
Happy for him. I'm so happy.
We vibed.
I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast, but I'll quickly share it just because.
Give a quick one.
It's a fucking podcast. I'm going to say it. Me and my dad, we'll go to my dad, my uncle, whatever. We'll go to Barrie Colts games like every year. That was like our OHL team right around Christmas time. And there was this one guy who, so at the Barrie Molson Center, it's called the Sadlon Center now for anyone in Barrie. They have like the team leaders, like their all-time shits. And you look up like Aaron Ekblad, Mark Scheifele, just a bunch of really good players. And above them all was Andrew Mangiapane. And I'm watching this guy, Andrew Mangiapane. I'm like, okay, he's really good. He's really good. And they were playing against the Kingston Frontenacs this one game. And Andrew Mangiapane lit it up. He went for like 4 points. But the big focus on that game, the big guy that everyone was there to see, was Lawson Krause. Because he was like a first-round pick on the Kingston Frontenacs. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe it, because I'm looking up Andrew Mangiapane. Who the fuck is this guy? He's unreal. He's dangling around everyone. And he's like a 6th-round pick. I didn't understand why. And I still don't understand why. That was never answered to me. So he's a fantastic player. I love Andrew Mangiapane. But getting back to the Flames, I love the way the team's built. I think there was no better addition to this season than Blake Coleman, even though he has 6 points in 21 games. That's not what he was brought in to do. He was brought in to be a Daryl Sutter player, and he is Daryl Suttering the fuck up. It's been unreal. Sean Monahan's having a good little season. He's always kind of a consistent middle six center, and I just really like the way they're built. I think they've played the best this season. Not by a lot, but I think
it's fair. I think my rankings will just differ. I think the Leafs, and it's glaring in your face. That's why I wanted to ask you guys these questions, because Leafs are 10-2. I believe that's number's correct. 12-2 in the month of November. So it's hard to say that the Leafs aren't the best team. I have to say they are, just because I still think they're a little bit more complete. It's hard to give the goalie one, because like the Leafs are playing terrific. You said it yourself, Adamo. The Leafs,
Yeah.
that two goalie tandem.
Oh,
and
it's like I don't fault you.
It's
I don't
very
fault you
no,
putting the Leafs.
no. It's very close. And I think you guys are also going to side with this as well. Maybe even change up the order a bit. But again, Montreal, Calgary Flames, they're a very valid team. I'm very happy to see them succeeding. Very happy to see my homeboy talent, Andrew Mangiapane, succeeding. He's making his case for Team Canada. He's getting paid. I think his contract year, if I'm not mistaken, is this year. He's going to get paid. He's cashing
I don't
in.
know if Team Canada is
he'll be in the discussion. He's got to be.
I genuinely think he's going to make that like that.
What more does he have to do?
Big roster. He's 15 goals in like 20 games.
Yeah, but you're not going to put him over.
He's not. No, he's not going on there. But he's going to be.
He's going to be on that. You know, there's like a big like 70-man roster or something.
They'll make a jersey for
50. I think 50.
They'll make a jersey for him.
They'll make the top 50. 100%.
And you know who's in? You know who's putting the last name on my Canada jersey I'm about to buy? Damo Rimoli, Pro Hockey Life, stitching on the back. Mangiapane on the back of my Team Canada jersey. Oh, I will if he gets on.
If he makes it.
Oh
yeah, come on over. I can get you a little discount.
But anyways, I digress. Jared, what do you got? Best teams in Canada, ranking them. You got the Calgary Flames to choose from. The Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously, glaring in your face with that 12-2 record this month. And, of course, the Edmonton Oilers, top-heavy offense, and the offense that never skips a beat.
Yeah, I don't blame Adamo for saying Calgary. I think it's very close, but I think I'm going to pick the Leafs. But it's not even a bias thing. I think even with one more game played, the Leafs have 3 more wins than Calgary. And just looking at the roster, obviously, looking at something on paper isn't exactly what you see on the ice. But just looking at the players on Calgary's defensive core, I don't love it, to be honest. I don't think they have a very strong defensive core on paper. Obviously, you have guys like Shillington who are doing really well. Hannafin's actually having a solid season. But in general, I just don't love their defensive core. And as much as their top guys on Calgary right now are playing like top guys need to play, of course, you said Mangiapane's doing great. I have Johnny Gaudreau on one of my fantasy teams. Took a little bit of a risk taking him earlier than maybe he was projected to go. And right now, that's working out great. Gaudreau's playing well. Monahan, I know you got bumped down to the 3rd line, but I think he's doing solid. So in general, you have a good team there in Calgary. But I still think the Leafs are the best team in Canada. I mean, I hate to go back to last year, but Kings of the North.
Northern champions, baby.
Kings of the North, baby. North Division champions. No,
they were.
Like, I think the Leafs are the best team in Canada. Right now, the standings show they are, but as much as I don't care what the standings say in November, I think you even just look at the rosters on paper, and right now, the way they're playing, I think the Leafs are kind of proving that they are the best team, and they should be the best team. Obviously, they could have a bad month, and they could have some blunders and whatever. That'll bump them down in the standings. But I think at their best, the Leafs have the best players in their team and should be the best team in Canada. And right now, they're playing like the best team in Canada. So if you want to rank my top 3, I'm not a big fan of how the Edmonton Oilers are built, so I'm going to put them in 3rd place. I think they have the best player in the world. They have a top 3 or 4 player in the world as well in Leon Draisaitl. They have their superstars, but they just aren't a deep team at all. I don't love their defense. I don't love their goaltending. So Edmonton, I'm going to put 3. Calgary, a big step above Edmonton, I'm going to put at 2. And then the Leafs, I am going to put number 1.
And I mean, the Flames, I personally, I don't know if you guys are going to disagree. I don't think they're just like a fad. They're just up there. They're going to fade. I think they're
legit.
I think they're legit. Not going to have this run, but they're going to be consistent. They're going to have more wins than losses by springtime. I think they're not a surefire pick for the playoffs, but I sure think they're going to be getting there. And it's just they're a fun team to watch. I don't know. It's the Pacific Division, right? So
can I throw?
I was just going to say they're in the Pacific and they're in the West, which right now is very much worse than the East. So I think there's a conversation that they could end up being the team to represent the West in the Cup final. Like they're in a very. I'm not saying that's my prediction. But I'm saying right now, the way it's looking, like they're in a very weak conference in a weak division. Like right now, it's pretty much night and day. The East is so much better than the West.
Yeah.
And yeah, Calgary is looking like one of the scariest teams out of that conference right now, which looking at my preseason predictions was not something I predicted. I thought Vancouver was going to be a lot better than Calgary if you look at the Canadian teams.
Boy.
So yeah, right now, Calgary's really, I don't want to say come out of nowhere because I know they have a good team, but they're doing really well, and they're looking like one of the scariest teams out of the West right now.
Can I throw it a take?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll turn over to Evan just right after.
Yeah. Give me like just a quick take.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the Calgary Flames are more of a playoff lock than the Leafs.
What
Like,
division?
it's
Because
thing.
of
It's
conference,
thing.
yes.
Yeah, but you're
It's a division
comparing
thing.
yin and yang. Like that's
It is
but
kind of
you guys
apples
talking
and
about the Leafs
oranges,
we're talking about the Leafs being the best team in the league right now. Like, I seriously
not.
think
I don't think they're the best team.
I don't think they're the best
they're-
team in the league either, but I think
they're playing
they're
like
the
it.
best team
Statistically,
in
they are. They're tied for first. So
Yeah, I know. But I think that's gonna fall, but I still think they're
Yeah.
gonna be by the end of the year. I think the Leafs are probably a top 5 team, but I don't think I'd pick them to be number 1.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's not as hot of a take, but like considering what we've seen from Calgary the last couple of years, just underperforming with such a talented roster, I think calling them a playoff lock is kind of bold, but I think they are a playoff lock. Does that make sense?
I think it's bold, but at the same time, you consider yes, it's early, but the way they're looking right now, they're looking like a scary team, so it's not as hot of a take. And again, you have to look at the conference and the division they're in. They're in the weakest division, I'd say, in the whole league. I'd say the Pacific is the weakest division.
Holy cow.
Pretty much, yeah, like a no-brainer.
Take that,
And
LA
as
kid.
well, like I said a second ago, I really don't like the West. I don't like the West right now. Like, there's very few teams in the West that are scaring me. And then you look at the East, and pretty much the entire Metropolitan, aside from a few teams, are scary teams, and the Atlantic as well. I mean, you have Boston that still has yet to heat up, and then Florida, Toronto, Tampa. Like,
Yeah.
I think the East is so much stronger right now, and for
Stacked.
that reason, I think Calgary's absolutely. I'm not going to use the word a lock because obviously we don't know what's going to happen. Still about
They could fully
60
both
games
miss.
left, but like
Yeah.
they look like a lock.
They could start something for
All right,
sure.
are you done?
Evan, I'm going to turn over to you, man.
Yeah, go on.
Give
All
us your
like,
rankings.
yeah, like I would rank it as Toronto, Calgary, and Edmonton, and I don't know. I think by the end of the year, I might even go Toronto, Calgary, Winnipeg. I'm just not really a fan of Edmonton's goalie tandem. Mike Smith is old and injured, and Mikko Koskinen, as much as Edmonton's been winning games, he hasn't really been helping them out as you would like. I believe he's given up before the Vegas game, he had given up 15 goals in 5 games, which isn't the most ideal scenario to be in, especially when you want to win in such a I know that the Western Conference isn't as great, but you got to keep in mind, like, teams are injured right now. Like Vegas, once Jack Eichel gets there, and they also lost William Karlsson. So once he gets back, they'll definitely be back to their normal selves. They're also missing Alec Martinez on the back end, so that's also another huge loss for them. And then with the Avalanche, Nathan McKinnon returns tomorrow night versus Toronto. So the teams that you were expecting to be the powerhouses just haven't gotten there yet, but they'll definitely be there come April. So I don't obviously now, whatever, I don't really care about now. In terms of Calgary, I think Jacob Markstrom just needed time. It's hard last year. You're in a COVID year. A lot of people, I'm not saying that this is an excuse, but a lot of people's mental health was really affected by the fact that your whole life consists of when you're on the road, getting off the airplane, getting on the bus, getting into the hotel, and then you're not allowed to be with anyone, getting to the you're just living a very robotic lifestyle where there's not a lot of interaction. When you're at home, you can't really interact with anyone because the fear of COVID. It's also just they have families. So I think he just needed some time, and with all the COVID protocols, missing games and all that, it was just a very weird year. It was also his first year in Calgary. So he needs to get adjusted to his team, especially being the goaltender. And when you've been in Vancouver for so long, running in that system, you kind of need to adapt. And sometimes it takes a year. So I'm not surprised by his success. In terms of the Leafs, we just talked about it for the past hour. They're good. They're rolling. I'm still not a fan of them playing Justin Hall over Travis Dermott and Timothy Liljegren.
Oh.
I don't he actually played really well against Anaheim. I'm not going to lie. He had a really good defensive game. He blocked a lot of shots, which is what you're hoping for. But they're just in a tough situation where, unfortunately, you can only play 6 defensemen. So they got to figure some things out. And that's how I would rank them. That's my story.
Just slice. No, you want to say something, Jared?
I just want to add one thing. I kind of completely, because we were talking about the top three right now in Canada being Edmonton, Calgary, and Toronto. So I forgot about the other teams. I'd actually put Winnipeg as the second best team in Canada. As much as they aren't doing well right now, I think I'd bump down Calgary.
Wait, did you say second?
Yeah, I'd put Calgary as third, and I think
I
I'd
wouldn't put
Edmonton
Winnipeg
You got a
ahead
little
of-
too much dip on your chip, bro.
No, I wouldn't.
I think like going into the year, for example, I know 2 months changes.
They
things,
just got shut
but
out by a nobody.
I don't care what's
Bro.
happening right now. I think in general, like by the end of the year, I think Winnipeg will be the second best.
Yeah, but look at the question, Jared. Look
Yeah,
at the question.
I know. Well, right now I answered that it goes Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton. But I think by the end of the year, just looking at roster overall, I like Winnipeg.
I don't know.
better than
Calgary's
I like
hot,
that
man. I
chance.
really.
They're
I-
hot right now. In general,
No,
as
they're
who's the best in
legit.
Canada.
But
I
Daryl
think Winnipeg-
Sutter's a proven
No,
coach.
he's a great coach.
Calgary
knows
isn't
how to
hot. This is
win.
Calgary. They're not
Trust
hot.
me,
This isn't a
once
hot
Ca-
streak.
Once
No, no,
Calgary gets into
I-
a blunder, you'll see TSN Instagram with a bag skate of Calgary. Like they don't want to lose because they're afraid of what's going to happen. I would put Winnipeg as far as 3. I'm really high on the Flames because
Yeah.
I think their identity changed with Daryl Sutter.
I think I agree with that. I think Daryl Sutter's a great coach. I just think looking at like roster construction over, it's not about who's going to go the farthest. I think with a coach like that, I think the Flames may end up going the farthest out of those teams. But just roster wise, like looking at the players they have, I do like the Jets better.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
you're
oh,
wrong.
like it's an opinion.
You're
No,
wrong.
but it's an opinion.
Tough crowd,
Like,
Jared. Tough crowd.
Your
no,
opinion is
like
wrong.
whatever. It's an opinion. I like the Winnipeg Jets a lot. I think Connor Hellebuck, when he's on, he is one of the best goalies in the league. I think Scheifele still has yet to pick it up. I think Wheeler still has yet to pick it up. Like I think a lot of players on Winnipeg right now haven't played to what they're capable of. But I think when the players, maybe it's less of the Flames needing to get less hot. It's the Jets need to get hot. And when they do, I think the Jets have players that they're. But maybe you could rotate whether you want to say Calgary 3, Winnipeg 2, or Calgary 2, Winnipeg 3. Like you could rotate that. But I don't know. I think the Jets are in the conversation with those top teams in Canada.
No.
No.
Okay.
Why don't we
We'll
just
see.
kick Jared?
Didn't
listen,
you pick the Jets to win the cup?
He did.
I did.
Adamo did.
I did. Because that's friggin' random. I could say like, screw it. Flames are my new top pick. Actually, no. I'm sticking with
Can we get that? We have the recording.
No.
That's a clip.
It's
That's a
still the
clip.
Jets. It's still the Jets. It's still the Jets. We're gonna win the cup. I
No.
said we're.
We're
They're gonna win the cup.
gonna win.
I was actually we had their the
Wait.
one you have, the jersey you have at Pro
Yep.
Hockey Life.
You have it?
This close to getting one, man.
I love it. Like someone who was it? Was it Jared that said you weren't as high on it?
I don't like text logos.
Oh, fair.
That's
Oh,
that's
The,
just
the
a
color
personal
itself is great. I think the color could have been.
I'm not a
sick,
fan of the
but-
logo. I'm a fan of the color. Like I
Color's
just like the
gorgeous.
I think the color is nice. Just in general, like a rule with me with any jersey, I don't like text things. Like I'm not a fan of the jersey jerseys, as we talked in length about last week. I don't like text.
No, I
logos.
think more people are attached to the color. Like I think that's
Fair.
what more people are. I don't know about
The
Mario,
logo's
but
cool
like
too. I'm not. I like them.
like my
Nah.
dad and I were definitely more attached to like the color of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
those are. It's a gorgeous jersey.
No, I'm just a fan of the jersey, but I mean, I kind of want to get the ball rolling a bit. We got some things to unpack here, including the Hughes signing, which just broke today before we got on, and the Florida Washington game that also unfolded a wild finish. So all I'm going to say to conclude this one is that, well, you guys actually did a kind of bonus work here, so I appreciate it. I'll give you guys some brownie points. You answered my question now, and my next question was who was going to be the best team come April? Who's going to be in that top 3? And I guess you guys hit the nail on the head there. I kind of appreciate the answer. And
Jets.
we haven't seen, the only thing I say about the Jets is the reason why I see Jared's logic. Right now, I wouldn't rank them number 2, and obviously, I don't think that's what Jared was doing, but we haven't seen the best version of the Jets yet. Like Scheifele and Wheeler have not done, they've done
Kyle
nothing.
Connor's been pretty cold lately. Like he started
Lately.
off hot, he's
Steelers.
No, yeah, they've all been cooling down a little bit, and this is not something we are going to see from the Jets. They're sort of a hot, cold team, but once they find a groove, they can stick with it and start soaring. So I think we haven't seen the best version of the Jets yet. I'm sure we will, and there's no reason why we shouldn't go and bring up our preseason rankings, like you mentioned, Adam, where the Jets, they still are a good team. It's just that they got to still find a bit more things. Calgary found it early. Jets still got to find it. So I think we'll just leave it at that.